Hello everybody, the first week we brought Mila home was the most surreal experience I ever had. I think why I'd say that is because it is essentially the steepest learning curve. You have no idea what to do with this tiny little baby, and every time I look at her, she's doing something that I've not encountered before. She's doing something that I worry whether is it going to be correct or not, whether she's healthy or not, whether she's going to be, I don't know, alive the next day or not. But I think during this first week, I learned a lot, and there are 5 things which freaked me out crazily. And I wouldn't lie, some days I just thought, should I just rush her to the hospital? But it's actually normal. Hi everybody, this is Mr. YY and welcome to my channel, where I share with you my joy, my experience, my journey of being a new parent. If this is the first time you're watching this video, and if you're also a new parent embarking on the same journey, why don't you subscribe to the channel, as I will show you along the way what I've been experiencing and what are the decisions that I've made throughout the journey, and hopefully we can all learn together. So today we are covering the 5 points which are actually normal, but it freaks out a lot of the first time parents like myself. So the first thing is the umbilical cord. So probably you are like myself, you had the experience or the joy or the pleasure of taking the scissors and cutting the umbilical cord. So now you see this little dangling thing with a clip at the end, and you are not sure what to do. So, I mean, during the first week, we are actually very conscious, because every time we shower her, every time we change the nappy, you see this umbilical cord that's flipping around, and especially when she struggles with when we are putting on the nappy, you can see that the nappy is actually sometimes hitting along the umbilical cord, and there might be a little bit of blood oozing at the side. And so we were really concerned that we are not keeping it clean enough, we are not doing things right. But don't worry, most of the time the umbilical cord will be fine. As in, so we every time we go to the midwife, we ask them to check, and they were like, oh, this looks perfectly nice, it's clean. So as long as you make sure you clean the surrounding around the umbilical cord, make sure that you don't pull it out, even though it looks like it's dropping off. Don't pull it out. So let it heal naturally, it will be fine. And I think for ours, it dropped off after 5-6 days, so on the 5th or the 6th day. So I think it's normal, let it be. Even if she struggles, she hit on it, as long as you make sure the side is clean, that will be okay. The second one is green poo. So I don't know whether you are like me, I'm the dedicated nappy changer at home. So every time the baby Mila have done the poo, she will be passed over to me, and I'll have to clean her up, make sure everything is done before I pass it back to the mommy. So if you are like me, you change nappy all the time, you'll probably be able to observe that the poo have different colors, different texture. I mean, it depends on whether your baby is a formula fed or breast milk baby, but most of the time it should be probably mustard or brownish color. So what I realized on one of the days early on was that the poo was starting to turn green. So in the morning it has greenish bits, and then over time it became actually bright green color. So I was so worried, because when you see different colors, you think, oh, something must be wrong, right? So, and you Google, green could mean that baby could have diarrhea. Green could mean that the baby is having too much fore milk, not enough hind milk. So it's too watery, nothing much to digest, so it passed through really quickly. Or green could also mean that the baby is has been overfed. So the green color from the bowel remains in the poo because everything just passed through. So I think one thing for sure is, I mean, I trust Google a lot, I Google a lot, but also just stay calm, because if it's a green poo, it will probably pass after a couple of, hours hopefully, or just 1-2 days. So if you keep monitoring the situation, and if it doesn't prolong and it goes back to brown, then that is fine. You don't have to panic, because in my case, I was really panicky, and we were asking everyone, oh, is this okay or not? But trust me, just monitor it 1 or 2 days. If it's still green, then maybe seek medical attention. But then if it recovers back to brown color, then you'll be fine. The third point is hiccups. I don't know if you have seen a baby hiccup before, but it is crazy. She's such a tiny human, but every time she hiccups, it moves, the whole body actually moves. And also, I mean, when I'm hiccuping, I don't feel enjoyable at all. So sometimes I feel that, oh, she's such a poor thing. And the hiccups last for quite a long time as well. It lasts for maybe, I don't know, sometimes 5, 6, 7, I don't know, 10 minutes. So it is something which, the first time when I encountered it, I was like, is she actually okay? Is she fine? But I mean, when I Google it, everyone seems to say that baby don't feel like severe discomfort when they hiccup. But how do you know, right? You're not a baby. But I mean, when I observe her, she normally doesn't cry or anything. She just lie there calmly and then just hiccup along the for the whole 5-6 minutes duration. So I mean, after 2 months now, I can tell you that I think it's fine, it's okay, there's nothing to panic. She doesn't really cry much when she hiccups, so stay calm. The best solution to hiccuping is actually the breast. So pass the baby to the mom, and after she have a few drinks, she'll be fine. Number 4 is vomiting. Maybe it might not be vomiting as well. I mean, to me, there's 2 different phases. One is after a meal, sometimes the baby just have like milk coming out of the mouth all the time, or even if you can see that it's actually like processed milk or digested milk, right? So that's one. The other one is sometimes when after a feed, or she just basically project out all the vomit, and then it's like a Malayan, everything just come out at one time. And sometimes I'm very worried because you don't know what's going on. Is she ill? Is she uncomfortable? Is she like too full, or is she just having too much wind? So you never know what's going on. So I mean, after all these weeks, now I realize that actually it's quite common for her to do like have a bit of milk coming out of the mouth every so often after every feed, and vomiting not that much, but apparently it's also a very common thing in babies. Nothing much to be worried about unless you test her, she got like fever and stuff. So if you see your baby vomit, just clean her up. If she's not crying, she's calm, then that's normal. The last point is, I think, what happens to every single parent, which is uncontrollable crying. So I mean, when she cries like crazy, I really don't know. Like, I feel like so stupid because I don't know what to do with her. I've done everything that I could possibly think of, like in terms of troubleshooting her. So change her nappy, make sure she's fed. If she's cold or hot, I put on like layers to remove layers just to test and see whether she's fine. Take her temperature to make sure she's not feeling ill. But she's still crying. So sometimes, like in the middle of the night or in the day, during the afternoon, you don't know what's going on. Is she too bored or whatever? And you just feel like everything's out of control. You don't know what to do. There's probably no solution to this, but it's really up to what you want to do. Personally, what I have realized is effective for me is firstly, distractions. I create loads of distractions. The first one that I like to do is to either get out of the house onto the balcony, so she don't suddenly see, oh wow, there's a lot of light, and then she get distracted for a little bit, maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you never know. Secondly is what I like to do is actually I like to like hold her upright and just give her a shake. So if I were to be like just bouncing off my knees, right, I think sometimes she feel quite comfortable, and she stopped crying for a while. And then the third one is basically I cradle her, and then I tap her knees, tap her back, and then I bounce as well at the same time. So it's a combination of all this, and I do it in the balcony. So massive package, 3 in 1, and that usually helps calm her down for a little while. So I think normally if the baby comes down for a little bit, and that should be fine. The last secret trick is, of course, pass it back to the mommy, where I mean, Booby works 99.9% of the time. So unless she's already fully fed, but even then she likes to chew on it. So why not give it a try to distract them or distract the baby? If it doesn't work, pass it back to the mommy. Those are the 5 points which freaked me out in the first week, or maybe even more, 2 to 3 weeks. But I hope you understand that actually a baby only cry or when they are really uncomfortable, when they are really hungry. So they don't cry because they want to manipulate you. They don't cry because they want to just get your attention, right? So I think it's very important to remember that, because a lot of time I have got relatives or friends telling me that, oh man, you are hugging the baby all the time, you are spoiling the baby. But you know what, first few weeks they are not going into a routine or anything. They are really trying to get to grips of being in the world. They are trying to be themselves, to understand themselves, to explore even, you know, their hands, their legs, their needs and requirements. So to be there for them, to be patient with them is really, really important. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. You are aware of these 5 things which might trip up, that probably will trip up during the first week of being with the baby. But don't panic. Everything is going to be okay. If you like this video, please do give it a like, and hopefully you will subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you very much for watching.